It was scary for me. The wind was very strong winds. We knew that it was going to be pretty bad. I was the most nervous because I was just afraid of how high the water would come towards us.
The fire was coming on so fast. From where we were, you could see the flames. The whole neighborhood was covered in smoke, so you couldn't see anything. And then the smoke would clear and you could see the flames again.
When the earthquake hit, obviously we didn't know what was going on. There was just this incredible roaring noise.
We don't know when, how, or if it's going to happen. So the question becomes, how do I get ready for any one of those events?
Major earthquake, Hurricane Sandy, bridges are out, power lines are down. People can't get where they need to go. Assume that will happen, prepare for it.
In late October 2012, Hurricane Sandy migrated north off the Atlantic coast. It met up with a complex low-pressure system, then moved west into New Jersey. In the small coastal town of Spring Lake, winds over 90 miles per hour ravaged trees and power lines. Breakers pummeled the town's boardwalk.
We got warnings way ahead of the storm. We knew how big it was going to be. I think the radius of the storm was about 800 miles. So it was going to affect a lot of people, and even if you were not a direct hit, it was going to affect you.
You could see the waves, you could see the water coming closer. It was very foamy, so you could see the white foam in the dark. That's how we were kind of watching what was going on.
Walking around the house looking for breaking glass or something all night while the storm was going through. Trying to keep my kids calm and make sure that they feel safe in the house.
Hurricane Sandy struck a vast, densely populated area across the eastern United States. Its estimated cost is climbing above $50 billion.
We were the first people that a lot of these clients have seen, and they were devastated. I mean, I saw homes ripped apart, boats in a house, roofs on cars, and the people are just so distraught. They don't know what to do next.
All the boards on the boardwalk and all the benches that were there, garbage cans that made out of concrete, they ended up in the street, and it was pretty big devastation by the storm.
Disasters disrupt hundreds of thousands of lives every year. Floods, fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, and hurricanes have lasting effects to both people and property. And these disasters can happen anywhere, from third world countries with weak infrastructure, to our nation's financial headquarters, to our own neighborhoods. Weather data and economic studies are combining to show an increasing trend in extreme weather events and related costs of recovery over the past 30 years.
This was going to be a bad storm.
You always hear of people on the news saying, gosh, you always hear about it happening to someone else. You watch the news and it happens to someone else. Well, today it happened to me. And that's what we need to prepare for.
I had heard that the weather was going to be really bad. And
in the Intermountain West, a geological feature known as the Wasatch Fault spans from southern Idaho to central Utah. Roughly 80% of Utah's population lives along the fault. For these residents, one primary threat looms.
Our biggest threat is that of a large earthquake, which we'll get no notice for. It'll just happen.
Being a seismologist, I probably lose more sleep over the earthquake threat than most people.
We don't know how bad it's going to be. We've got a lot of models to suggest that a major earthquake here in the Salt Lake Valley is going to be devastating, not only to the infrastructure, but to impacted lives, to evacuations, to not enough sheltering capability. So we've got a lot of modeling to suggest that that's a very serious situation and could impact thousands of people.
About every 500 years, there's a surface rupturing earthquake somewhere along the Wasatch Fault. And I clarify that because those are the only ones we can see in the paleoseismic record. So that means it had to be a magnitude probably larger than 6.5, 6.7 or larger event to actually break the surface. So not only have we had earthquakes in the past, we actually have sensors along the fault. They're called GPS, so global positioning sensors that actually measure relative positions. And we know that there is strain that is building across the Wasatch Fault. So we know that with strain, you're going to get an earthquake.